What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Comic Realm with Tiffany. And of course, I have my guest here, Mariah.
Hello.
And we're going to be talking about the last and final episode of Game of Thrones. So, Mariah, what do you think of this last episode that we got?
I wanted more. They left so many questions unanswered. Mm-hmm. So many plot points that just were completely shit on. Lots of stuff that was built up throughout the entire series that just didn't even really matter at the end, which is kind of disappointing, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of liked how, the story went, but it was just too chopped up, and, there was a lot of plot holes, things that we needed,
We're so used to, these elaborate and ornate plans and theories and storylines from these previous seasons, and this one was just so haphazard and I know we had mentioned this before, but it doesn't really matter now,
right? Let's just shove people here and there.
Yeah,
there's no time doesn't exist at all, traveling, whatever. But anyways, the episode opens where Tyrion's walking into King's Landing. His home is pretty much tore down to
decimated.
The ground.
Can I just say, this was one of his best acting performances. This entire episode was just fucking fantastic by Peter Dinklage. Yeah. It really was.
He was the one you pretty much felt so much for in this episode. And he's just seeing the space pretty much in horror and fuck.
Yeah.
All these civilians that he was trying to protect from.
He really was. He was, from the beginning, the second she got to Dragonstone, the very first time, he was listen, you can't just go and burn King's Landing down. The people don't deserve it.
No, they suffered enough. Why should they suffer even more?
They're suffering under Cersei's rule. This isn't fair.
But, Daenerys was no, Cersei's using her people against me to make me feel bad and not do shit.
She really had that shit twisted in her head. She was she used them against me. But what part of that is of course they had to die. What? Where's that logical? Where's that logic coming from?
Just because she didn't get that. I don't know what she want. For her to snap is especially for what they given us for her to become mad, didn't make sense. Because it's okay, did she snap because Cersei didn't come out of the castle? Hey, I'm giving you my crown or something. Or did she want I don't know, a face-to-face, some kind of reaction?
I don't know. I don't know what she was.
They said, Tyrion even told her, it's the bells ring, everyone surrenders, you won. But for her to be triggered in such a way, it just didn't make sense.
No, it didn't. And at that point, it got very, it got crazy tyranty, straight out of Nazi Germany type of speech. Mm-hmm. Where did all those army men come from? Because before, they looked fucking decimated. And all of a sudden, she has everyone in her army back.
Right? It's hundreds of people, the soldiers there. And it's I bet you only had 10 people.
Yeah, I'm your little army looked weak as fuck, the week before when she killed your friend, and now you have, millions upon millions of Unsullied again. I'm where were they?
Right.
Where did they go? Why are they here now? It's
probably behind the hills, because obviously they didn't need them at all, because she went and did all the work. But yeah, Tyrion finds Daenerys, but Daenerys comes out amazing. Before her speech
with her wings. And the wings. She's a true dragon now.
Right? But also some evil there, too.
Gorgeous shot. Probably the best one in all of Game of Thrones.
Right. And Jon, let me just go be right here on the side. And
he's I don't speak Valyrian, but she's sounding fucking crazy right now.
Right?
I heard her say Winterfell.
And she did it in such a way of a Hitler inspiration of that speech.
For real. And even Tyrion was kind of I know his Valyrian's a little broken, but he knows did most. She sound like someone who was done fighting?
No.
I'm no. And before, you would think she had even said herself, once this war is done, we're good. I'm just going to rule and it's going to be happy and beautiful and the Unsullied can go leave and do whatever the fuck they want to do. They're free to go. There will be no more war. There'll be nothing but peace. And it's like, bitch, where did that go?
Flew away. It died with the other dragon.
It died with Rhaegal. Oh my god.
But yeah, so Tyrion goes up to her. She's like, "Fuck you," and threw her his little...
What a baller ass move,
right?
In front of all those soldiers. He was just like, eat shit. Basically told her to eat shit. I'm surprised that he didn't
Gave
die
her the middle finger
right then and there.
Right? I was like, oh shit. One of them Unsullied is gonna throw a spear at him, and that's it.
Not even that, but like, okay. On all the hullabaloo, how would she even know that Jaime was free? Jaime's dead. Mm-hmm. How would she even know?
It was sad, though, when Tyrion went to go and look for his brother and
that
sister.
whole scene was stupid. It should have never happened. The way that the rubble caved in, there should have been nowhere for him to walk.
Right.
I'm like, are you telling me if they stood 4 feet to the left, they would have avoided that pile of rubble? That's some bullshit.
And they didn't seem so smushed. Like, nothing, like, no just...
Girl, like, that whole scene, beautiful acting by Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
Beautiful acting.
That's why it made me feel in that part.
It shouldn't have even happened because the way that it crumbled, it should have just been a completely full basement of bricks. There should have been nothing for him to walk through. They still had a roof. Mm-hmm. I'm like, There's still beams. Everything was still attached.
Like,
there's still a whole ass structure. I'm like, the way that...
And he didn't go in there with any flames, so it's like, wouldn't that should be pitch black down there? Because they're in the underground.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that scene should have never happened. As great as it was, like, it was dumb.
Right? And, like, did you really need that scene to see them actually, like, them two?
No.
Not really.
All you have to do is just see a little glimmer of gold and be like, shit.
Right. His hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Jaime's hand. That was pretty much enough, but, like, I thought, like, oh shit. Like, they don't look that damaged. Maybe they're just passed out. That's what it looked like.
Oh my god. If one of them would have coughed or something, no.
Not even a fart.
They honestly, they honestly should have been, like, mush at that point.
Yeah.
All she had was like a bloody nose.
That was
questionable.
Yeah, nothing smashed. But
again, should have never even happened, but whatever.
But Tyrion is in prison now. So, and Jon comes in and he's like, did you bring any wine? Nope. And
that whole convo was important.
It wasn't that much. Nothing really...
I mean, he said it without saying it. He's like, you pretty much know what you have to do in order to stop this.
But he had to push him because, you know, that's pretty much why Jon
God,
went to go
Jon
see him,
even
probably.
tried justifying her for like a second.
His balls are really wrapped up.
And it's funny because even Tyrion was like, would you have done the same? And he's like, I don't know. And he's like,
yes, you would
do,
know.
you little bitch. Like, don't even try this. We all know Jon Snow the Noble, blah, blah, blah. You would never in your life.
Right? But, you know,
that's
for Jon, he's a little slow.
That's his queen.
And he don't want it. We get it. You said it throughout the whole entire season. That was pretty much his only line.
Love is the death of duty.
So he goes and finds
He loves her and he goes fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm. And he goes and finds her. And, you know, he pretty much relived the scene where she goes towards the throne because of what she got from that vision of hers.
In the House of the Undying.
And she goes towards the throne. She doesn't sit on it. Turns around and sees Jon. And, you know, Jon says, once again, you are my queen. But she's pretty much telling him, like, you know, this isn't over. You know, I'm still going to go and conquer everyone.
She's like, we can free everyone, and they don't get to choose. And it's like, you spent your whole life hating tyranny and wanting to, like, free people from it. And then the shit that you're saying, it's like,
does not make any
opposite
sense. Yeah. And especially for her character, again.
Mm-hmm.
From everything she came from, she pretty much came from rock bottom. And all that stuff, but yeah, she, like, flick of a switch. She's like, yeah, fuck it all.
Exactly, and I think that's what kind of bothers people the most, is that it really did feel like a flick of the switch, whereas Okay, sure. Fine. She was meant to go mad. She's meant to do all this horrible shit. Bring me more. Like, give me more. Like, give me more of a journey to that. Not just...
Make me believe that
was really where she was meant to go.
Because pretty much all they gave us was like, she didn't get dick from John, and that's why she went mad.
Yeah, and it's like, no, you could have spent an entire season documenting her downward spiral into madness, and instead you gave me 2 episodes.
Having her own conspiracies, yeah, she's seeing people going against her.
Exactly. Like, you could have really played up her madness, and that would have made more sense. Because whatever, we get it. Game of Thrones, however it's like you want it to end, it never ends that way. Good people don't win. Good things don't happen to the good guys. Mm-hmm. Everyone dies. Fine. But at least back then, like, it made sense. Like, there was, like, I understood the Red Wedding. As much as I hated it, I understood it. Like, all the bad shit that happened in the previous seasons, you understood why. Like, I just didn't understand this, Yeah.
So finally, John has the balls and stabs her in the heart.
Ooh. So dirty. Mm-hmm. He just did her so dirty. Like,
I mean, you saw it coming. It was only obvious. And I felt like you think she would have saw it coming, too. Because you saw it in his face. Like, she knew that he wouldn't agree with everything that he...
But the way they made it seem was like, oh, she's so crazy that, of course, she's going to think that, yeah, he's fine with it. Love is
blind.
Yeah, but it's... No.
But even, like, when they had their last meeting, she's all like, love or fear? And she's like, oh, okay, fear me. Because she got that rejection. So it's like, why would she be happy to see him? She saw his look the way she looked at her, like, kind of crazy after that speech. Mm-hmm. And it's like, why is she walking around alone?
I'm surprised she didn't have any guards with her in that entire moment.
She's so, like, kind of like, I don't trust anyone. Everyone's like, doesn't want me to be their queen. And it's like, you think she would have Grey Worm by her side the whole time.
Yeah, instead she had like 6 unsullied guards outside the door, but no one could really
go. No one could even go past the dragon unless it was
help
John.
Her. Oh, that's right. He was sleeping in the snow. Yeah. I forgot all about that.
Snow or ash, whatever it was.
Oh my God. What a cute little nugget. I completely forgot.
I was like, oh, look at that hill of, like, ash. And then, like, it moved.
And I'm like, I know your ass hates the cold. Get out of that snow pile. You poor little baby.
That was funny. But then, Drogon knows what's going on. He knew when his mother was stabbed, and he got fucking pissed and took it out on that throne.
That poor little baby. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Like, Drogon was really the only one that broke the wheel. He said, fuck all y'all. Fuck this chair.
Like, everyone who's been fighting for this
chair. Stupid fucking chair. Now there's no chair. Have fun. You dumb bitches. My mother died over this fucking sword chair. He's pissed. Poor little baby. I'm surprised he didn't. It would have been cool to see him burn John. Mm-hmm.
And then he'd come out like, oh, I'm the unburnt too.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if John's blood is like that strong.
True.
But still, even if John would have been burned and died and was meant to die with Daenerys, like, that would have been fine.
Yeah, because he literally had no purpose after this.
Yeah, like, what the fuck were you even here for? Mm-hmm. You didn't pull rank. You didn't do shit.
You didn't want to be like, king,
I'm Aegon Targaryen. You can't make me a fucking prisoner because I own this bitch. Like, he didn't do shit after.
So, and did you there was, like, memes about this, about Drogon burning the chair? Because he knew that Bran was going to be king. Because he had a chair.
That was funny.
These memes have been golden, too, this week. It's been amazing.
Literally, my heart breaks for Drogon, and I know dragons aren't real, but, like, that was, like, a real dragon cry.
Right?
Like, that cry was real.
You felt the pain.
You felt that shit. Like, when you listen to old mariachi music and you might not understand it, but you feel it, you felt that fucking dragon cry.
Right? And then he goes, grabs her with his big-ass claws, and flies away, and I got a little teary on that. I'm like, well, that was kind of beautiful
oh my God,
and sad.
Where's he taking her? His poor mommy.
Right? Where could he go? Like, they don't really have a home, so.
Well, there's this whole theory that he took her back to old Valyria, where the original dragons were born and where the Targaryens were born.
Would he even know where that is if he's hasn't?
Maybe he's there. Kind of like a homing pigeon. You just always kind of know
where
home is.
Like, they know when to fly south.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I'm just gonna go east, back to old Valyria.
He's just gonna go and try to find some warm weather.
Yeah, dude, I'd be over that fucking cold too. He was born in like the desert, the grasslands, like Marine looked hot as hell, and then they dragged his poor little ass to that cold.
Right.
Like, mm-mm.
And then she's all like, they're not eating. It's because they don't like it here in the cold.
Yeah. I don't know. They left that open for interpretation. That kind of sucks.
And then they just cut that scene. It's like, so we don't see Jon being infiltrated.
Being captured.
Or anything.
I don't know if he, like, did he try to escape? Did he just, like, knock on the door and be like, hey, guess what? I killed her.
Queen.
His dumbass probably told the whole truth about everything. Like, yup.
Yeah, I did it because I don't want it.
Because I have to be honest and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Like,
they didn't really explain that. It's like,
you stupid bitch. Like, you could have just said Drogon took her. She flew away.
He could have hid that blood.
No, she didn't say when she'd be back.
She left again, you know, like she normally does. She just leaves.
You know, I don't know what she'd be doing.
I think she's trying to find the new kingdom to rule, too.
Yeah, like, there could have been so many other things with that. But whatever, you get your little 5-month time hop and...
Yeah, and it's like, okay, you see Tyrion on the ground, like, you know, all dirty, and who knows how long he's been, like...
They don't even really say how long...
No, and then, like, all of a sudden, everyone was there, and it's all sunny, and I guess there's no winter anymore.
Yeah, is it spring now? Like, what's going on? Doesn't winter usually last a couple years?
I don't know. So, I mean, winter was coming for a few weeks. Pretty much.
All that hullabaloo for like a month of winter.
Mm-hmm. And
after they were like, the last winter was 9 years long. I'd have been like, fuck that.
And this one was only like
a month,
6 weeks.
Yeah,
6 weeks long.
Who knows? I don't know. Like, but would people have complained if there was a little thing that was like 5 years later, 2?
Yeah. It's like, hey, okay, give us that.
I need a little context of time. I mean, obviously, it had to be a really long time because you've seen how freaking Robin Arryn grew up,
right?
Like that took a couple years,
and then freaking Jon's beard grew.
Jon's beard grew. Freaking Tyrion's all crazy.
Mm-hmm. And then they go in, have their little meeting with all the royals that are pretty much left over.
Mm-hmm.
Not that many at all. And pretty much they're just like, okay, who's going to be the next king? When you think it's like, isn't Jon supposed to be, because he is the rightful heir anyway, this whole time?
Exactly. Like, he could have just pulled rank and been like, you can't keep me in this fucking prison. Like, I am Aegon Targaryen.
Right.
But he didn't.
He didn't.
Which is dumb. So it's kind of like, why was his parentage even a story in the first place?
There was no point of having him as a Targaryen.
Exactly.
I mean, it was a great twist, even especially in the books.
Such a fun little twist.
But then there was like, they're not even using it.
Yeah.
They weren't even using it at all. They're just like, oh, this is my identity. You gotta hide your identity.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's it.
And it's like, it would have even been better if like Daenerys even tried to do some shit to him because of who he is, but she didn't really, and he didn't pull rank, and he didn't get himself out of prison. He didn't do shit.
No, he did not. Pretty much, he had no voice.
No.
And I thought, like, you know, Tyrion's all like, even pushing that thought in these last 2 seasons, like, oh, let's push for Jon to have, you know, the rightful heir, because, you know, Daenerys is not right. So he just, like, totally, like, you know, switched off from there. And it's like, you know, we gotta pick our king, and they're trying to figure out, like, how are they gonna do this? And Sam's all like, oh, let's do, like, you know, bringing in the democracy
let's
on
have
that
democracy.
Shit. And everyone laughs. Like,
everyone shits on him.
It's like, shut the fuck up, Sam. I'm
They're like, democracy, this idiot.
right? At first I was like, holy shit, is this the beginning of how it all starts?
I was like, they're not about to do some dumbass shit like this.
Right.
But then I'm glad that everyone started laughing, and I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
oh, thank God. I was like, no way, they're all gonna just agree.
Yeah.
But then Tyrion goes in his rant. It's like, no, we need somebody who has like the best story. Pretty much everyone in the whole room except for Bran, because he's just been dragged throughout the entire season.
What
broken
a
legs.
stupid conclusion to come to. Like,
I mean, it made sense, but don't give him the title of the greatest story.
no, like that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're gonna make Bran king, make it about his ability and his powers. Be like, yo, this guy's the three-eyed raven. He can see the
holds
past,
history.
the present, and the future. He knows everything. He can see all. That makes the most sense. He's got some mystical ass powers. Make him king.
Right?
Don't come at me and be like, who has the most interesting story? Because literally everyone in that fucking circle has a way more interesting story than Bran did. Like, Sansa was a bad bitch, like, the whole time.
She was that little bird that broke out.
Yeah. Like, she had a great story. Arya
Had
went
a great story, too.
across the state by herself to go and become, like, this crazy assassin. And you're telling me that him falling from a fucking window is a better story? Even
Right?
Jon had a better story. Jon fucking died.
Jon fucking died. He found out who he really was. He's not really a bastard at all.
No.
But, no.
Night's Watch, Hardhome, lived with wildlings, like, united the wildlings. Such a, like, everyone there had a better story than
Yep.
Bran did. So don't make it about, like, who
And
has the best
Brianna
story.
got attacked by a bear and
Brianna
survived.
fucking Tarth had a great... Jesus Christ.
But yeah. So, pretty much Tyrion says, like, Bran, and everyone agrees, yay. And then Sansa's like, what? He has no working dick. Pretty much threw him under
He
the bus
can't
on that,
bother
which was
children.
funny.
I mean,
And that's
First
what
of
was
all,
pretty much
rude.
breaking the wheel
yeah, exactly.
to have, like, I guess they're gonna have a vote every time, like,
A new leader needs
Yeah,
to be
new-
chosen rather than
exactly.
succession. And even Tyrion tells Sansa, like, you know how cruel king's sons can be. And they are little assholes.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need a bunch of little assholes one after the other. You just pick whoever's good at the time.
right?
Not
more
Edmund
sensible.
Tully.
Exactly.
He can sit down.
He can sit down, Uncle. That was funny. He even tried and was like, okay, I'll just sit down.
I'm like, you kept your ass in a cage for like 4 seasons. Your story is not that interesting. That doesn't make
It
you
was just
deserve
funny.
to be
It was like,
king.
oh shit, he was alive this whole time. And I was like, I thought he was gone forever. I just forgot about him.
Because no one cared about him.
No.
Literally no one cared.
I wonder how much that actor got paid to just be in this one episode.
Who knows?
And then you see Robin bloom into a flower from all that titty milk that he's been drinking.
I mean, I still think he's an ugly kid.
He is an ugly kid, but he did blossom a bit.
Yeah, he grew. Puberty, that's what happens. I still can't not picture him with his fucking mom's tit in his mouth. Like, I
Right.
really can't.
That was so disturbing.
Dude, and I'm like, as an actor, as a child actor, like, how do you even begin to explain that? Like, okay, babe, we know that you're 4 years old, but we need you to suck on this, like, random stranger's titty and then be really weird about it. You know?
Yeah.
How does that convo even happen? Was that his real mom?
I don't even know.
Dude, I can't.
I haven't even looked.
Was it a
deeper on
fake
that.
titty?
Had to be a fake titty.
God, I hope it was a fake titty. I hope it wasn't her real titty.
Had
That
to
would
be
have
a
been,
fake titty.
that would have been fucking disturbing.
I mean, all the like prosthetics and makeup. I mean, the game is pretty up there.
Let's
so
just pray
if those
it
like,
was a
those-
fake titty.
I mean, if those Asian videos doing those weird face makeover thingies where they don't even look like they actually are,
Mhm.
they can make a real looking titty.
Okay. I hope he was sucking on a fake titty, and I hope it wasn't that actress's titty. And yeah, that shit has bothered me for like 7
It scarred us
seasons.
for like that part. I'm like,
Since
and then
I first
every time
seen
you
it.
see that kid, it's like that's the kid who sucked on titty. So he was like, I don't know,
Yeah.
20.
Yeah. And another thing, all those people, You never really hear about how they got to where they are. Like, what happened to him? When the Vale left and joined the North, what did he do? He was still a child. Who raised him? Littlefinger didn't. Nope. His ass is dead. The guy from Dorne, what the fuck happened to him?
I don't know. They all just appeared out of nowhere. And it's like, where have you people been?
And fucking Yara.
Well, we all knew where Yara was. They even said it. She went and hide.
She's about to get cut. She doesn't shut her fucking mouth.
Arya's like, fuck you. Bring it.
I loved that moment. I was like, yes, regulate.
It's like, Yara, shut up and sit down.
I need more of that. I need more. She's like, I wish a bitch would.
Right?
And she didn't say a word after that.
Oh, yeah. It's like fucking Arya Stark. Everyone knew what she could do.
She's like, I'm Arya motherfucking Stark.
Right?
She can look me up.
She can go steal a face and you won't even see her.
Ask about me.
Look at my resume.
Yeah, for real.
I am the Night King Slayer. I appear out of nowhere. But yeah, so pretty much they go into a little bit further, like they're trying to rebuild, you know, Bran is king, Tyrion is now the hand of the king, and Brienne is, you know, writing into the Knight's book. History book. The burn book. Like, I fucked Jaime and it was like the worst lay ever. I don't know.
I know. I was like, he is a fugly slut. Do not trust him.
He will fuck you and leave you.
Used to fuck his own sister. Not kidding.
There were so many great memes.
I know. I'm like, amazing. This is so weird. Like, she's being way too nice.
Right? It's like, go back
died
to
protecting his queen.
Right? I would love to see Brienne leave with Jon and go meet Tormund. That would have been like the happiest ending I would have loved, but I guess she don't want
it. She's got duty. Duty is the death of love.
Right.
She's got her duties there. And then another thing, they were talking about like, oh, we need a new Master of Whispers and a new I would have liked to seen who those people were.
Right.
Who's Varys' replacement? Who's the new shady bitch in town?
Unless they're not going to use that way, breaking that wheel. They just kept breaking the wheel, but what else are they going to break? You know,
just how kings are chosen.
I mean, we saw Sam just write that book of Ice and Fire, and it's like, oh, Tyrion.
That's what I mean when I say you fucking Lord of the Rings me. It's like, oh, this whole time I'm the one who wrote this fucking book, and
and Tyrion, you're nowhere in the book.
You're not even mentioned. But that's what I mean. I don't care. Like, was that whole scene necessary about
them
the fucking together? Book? No. The scene getting together, sure. Mm-hmm. Fine. I'll do it. But him bringing the book, A Song of Ice and Fire, like, why?
You know, they're trying to make him, like have some kind of purpose, but really he doesn't really have
No, and I know that George R.R. Martin is, like, a huge Lord of the Rings fan, mm-hmm. but, like, you're killing me here with these fucking references. You really are. The weird fat little friend named Sam. It's the same fucking thing.
They just added Samuel. Well, isn't that?
No, the other one was Samwise.
Samwise and Samuel.
the weird little fat useless friend. Basically. We get it.
We saw him fight in the, you know, with the White Walkers, and he just laid there yelling.
Girl. He didn't fight.
He didn't fight. He just laid there.
He laid on his back and kicked.
He literally did what like every scared dog would do: lay on their back and just like give up.
That's why I'm like, he didn't. That didn't. Whatever. But that didn't need to be there.
And then they punish Jon to go back into the Night Watch when there's nothing really right now for them to watch for.
Exactly.
But he gets to reunite with his puppy and finally gave him the affection that Ghost deserved finally. With his sadly cut off ear.
Such a good boy.
He is such a good boy. The dog that the direwolf that no one deserved.
For real.
Except for maybe Tormund. He probably took good care of him, I hope.
I hope. But like again, why did that even need to happen? Because the Unsullied were gonna leave anyway.
Yeah, and they're not gonna keep tabs on him.
Exactly. They were on a fucking boat ready to sail out. Like, why did he...
Everyone had to do was wait for their own way.
Everyone,
and they're like, bye, bitch, and we're done with you.
Oh my god. All they had to do was wait for the boat to leave the harbor and be like, JK, John, you can come back to Winterfell with us.
Right?
Like,
just have the boat, like, go around the island and
yeah.
they wouldn't see. And
they would have been none the wiser. Which is why it's so dumb that they're like, oh, like, we're so sorry we had to send you. And it's like, do you though?
Do you really?
They're gonna be off in Noth doing God knows what.
Right? And then I'm like, oh, he's not able to bear children or anything. It's like, how would you fucking know?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
All the people from the Night Watch are mostly people are the Wildlings. And like all the Wildlings love them.
Yeah.
So.
Like... It didn't make any sense. Not even that. I mean, before Tormund was like, you've got like a little north in you. And he's like, well, I am from the north. He's like, no, bitch. The real north. So I guess that was kind of him saying like, you could totally be a wildling like the rest of us.
Yeah, well, he's pretty much telling like, hey, you are a wildling. You're part of this family, you know?
Yeah.
So go make another redhead baby or something.
Pretty much.
And then you see Arya sailing away to see what's west of Westeros.
I don't care.
Which...
about her little Dora the Explorer fucking storyline. I don't.
It's like, all that training and for what? She's not going to go out into the west and start assassinating other people.
And I get it. Like, her whole story of revenge is done. She doesn't need to do it anymore.
True. So she did venge for her family.
Yeah. So then just be a badass somewhere. Like, you could have totally been in the north and helped Sansa just regulate. You could have stayed in King's Landing and been one of the people who protected Bran.
Right.
You could have been the fucking master of whispers, bitch. Like, you have 8,000 different faces put to use.
There's really... Honestly, there's not really, thinking about it, not really a need for her because they really are starting over. So no one's not going to really attack because they're kind of over the whole shit right now. They just want to rebuild.
No, that's what I mean. She could have been a new master of whispers. All she had to do was put on a different face and find the tea on everybody.
It's true.
She could have used her talents elsewhere. Instead, she's just going to get on this fucking boat.
Or go bone Gentry. That poor guy.
Oh my god. I get, like... She didn't just want to be someone's wife, whatever. But what? You're gonna go sail
away
west? Who cares? I don't.
She's gonna be like,
what's over there?
That's what she wants to find out because like the maps only like stop.
So she's gonna go be a fucking map maker like Lewis and Clark.
That or Columbus, who knows what happens.
Motherfuck Columbus, first of all. But, I don't know. Weird, confused, upset, whatever. And she's like, oh, I'm not going back north. I'm like, I'm pretty sure exploring will only take a few years. You could probably go back once you're done. Like,
right? It's like, poor John, it's like, you come visit me. And she's like, no. I'm leaving right now. It's like, well, come visit me after.
Yeah, seriously. I'm
but
like,
then
really?
Who knows where
You're
John's
just
gonna be?
Ditch everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's what they've given us. They're gonna, I guess right now it's in the works, I guess, is the prequel. I guess with the start of the whole White Walkers and Children of the Forest. I mean, how's that gonna be turned out? Because it's gonna be pretty much...
Well, hopefully they give us more about why the fucking Night King is the way that he is, because this season didn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
He was just like an asshole until he died, and then it was like, oh, that's it.
And then everyone became an asshole after that.
Yeah, and we never got to figure out like why they marched south. Why was he taking babies and turning them into little whites? Like, what was the purpose?
Mm-hmm.
What was the reason?
And if he conquered, what was he gonna do? Just take the throne?
Winter?
In those hot summers? He's gonna melt?
I don't know. I wish they would have went into that. Hopefully these prequels with the children and the First Men and...
Right. At least those books are done, though.
Will semi-explain the reasons behind, like, the Children of the Forest got no play these past seasons after, like, we never got to figure out anything of what.
We only saw some of the Children of the Forest, but
yeah, all it did was really explain that they made the Nightwalkers, but they didn't.
What was their life before? Why did they do that?
Yeah, I guess, well, they made it to protect against the First Men, so I guess these prequels will show why they had to protect themselves from the First Men.
And then they kind of screwed up, I guess, along the way with their magic.
Yep. But there's going to be no houses, no lords, no dragons, no nothing. So we'll see
how that's going to play out. If they continue doing the prequels.
I would love to see one of, like, Robert's Rebellion.
Yeah, I thought they were going to start off with that.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, or I probably just had a friend tell me and took it as news, but that might be one of the spin-offs that they're doing.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Because that whole time, they talk about it all the time, and when you really look back, how old was John? It was, what, like 20 years ago when all that happened? 18, 20 years ago? From when, like, season 1 started?
Yeah. Because they made it seem like it wasn't that long ago.
Well, they were all old, but like, yeah, I'd say like 20, 30 years before. I would like to see that, how that all happened with Robert and Lyanna and Rhaegar and the Mad King and
then young Jaime.
Young Jaime. Yeah, when you think about it, like, Jaime couldn't have been like that young when he killed the king.
When it's like late teens, 20s probably.
Yeah, because in the show he had to be like, what, early 40s? Late 30s?
I don't know. When I look back on the seasons, I'm like, holy shit, they were young.
They look so young.
And now they're like, funny. They look all tired as fuck.
It's funny because when Jon walked out, he looked the same as the first day when he went to the Night's Watch. He had like his cute little curly hair. His face was like freshly shaved with this tiny stash and like baby cheeks. And I'm like, oh.
Well, we always saw him like later in the season, just with the beard. So it's like.
The beard and the half up, half down man bun.
Yeah.
And now she just went full curls, got the gel, got the mousse, did the scrunch, let it dry. And it looked great. It looked just like the old Jon.
Right? Babyface Jon. Confused looking still.
Off to ride into the forest to do God knows what because they don't give us anything.
No. I mean, what's there to do with her?
To be free. He could have been free in Winterfell. No one would have known. I guess, like, Sansa just kind of wanted him gone because she wanted to be queen. She didn't want him to be king of the North since the beginning. No. She was kind of like...
I mean, she kind of like, yeah, I'm going to have to respect it, but, like, she never really respected the decisions
No, she gave Major side-eye the whole time. And it kind of became apparent that, like, the people liked Sansa better.
Yeah.
Which is fine, let her be queen, but, like, you can't tell me that Jon couldn't have stayed in Winterfell and been chill.
She could have stayed there, but I think she just wanted to... She didn't want to have to, like, probably listen to anybody, because, you know, now she's alone with no siblings up in the Winterfell, so no one's not going to really question her judgment,
Exactly.
You know?
Who's her hand? Who's her advisors? Brienne isn't protecting her anymore. Who's her people?
I don't know. Brienne's busy protecting Bran now.
But no, see, that's the thing. She swore fealty to Sansa. Another fucking plot that they didn't give a shit about and just crapped on.
Unless she told him, like, hey, stay with my bro since he's the king, you know?
He's being protected by Sir Podrick. He's fine.
Who knows? Maybe she doesn't want to go back to Winterfell because it's bad memories. She's like, that's where I fucked Jaime and he left me.
And he left. Yeah, I know some girls who still, like, can't get into a Honda because of some shit like that, but...
So maybe that's her Honda right there.
Oh my God.
Like, too many bad memories. She, like, lost her virginity and, like, you know. And then he left her.
Exactly.
So she don't want to go back and just keep seeing those memories.
Pretty much. But yeah, I mean, they just left a lot open. Bran didn't even get to use any of his real abilities this season. He worked for like a second.
And then like, you just hear them talk like, oh, where's Drogon? Has everyone heard? He's like, oh, well, some people said they saw him here. And then Bran's like, oh, I could track him.
I literally, during that moment, I was like, I'm going to go now.
Yeah. Bye. Peace.
I thought he would have just worked right there at the table. That would have been funnier if he was just at the table with his eyes rolled back and the rest of them just kind of continued on doing what they were doing. That would have been a little more comedic. But, you know, they don't pay me to write the show, so.
Yeah. So.
Whatever.
And then when, the next king or ruler comes, like, what are they going to sit on?
Just making a little chair. I don't know.
Out of swords.
They don't need to make an iron.
Maybe they'll use a wheelchair, and that's going to be the permanent throne.
You're a bitch.
I don't know. What else do they use?
Like an ornate wheelchair.
Yeah.
I don't know. That'll be their problem when they come to it. We'll never know because they're never gonna. Yeah,
and we don't know who will be the next ruler. I don't think I would have even want to know the next.
Not even that, but like, even if the source material came out and they decided to make a show about it, I'm like, you already kind of ruined it now.
It'll probably be like years until they realize, let's just do a continuation, like the sequel.
There's always reboots.
There's always
reboots. Reads like, I can't, but I don't want it. I like the OGs.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the actors were bad. Like, they all did great. It's just they were given shit, and they knew it too. Mm-hmm. Like, you can see it all in their interviews. They're like, because
they've been there through day one. They know the scripts, and they know how the scripts were written. And then it's like they pretty much did it like a choppy job. I mean, the storyline was pretty much. I like how like the whole story of it, so how it's got there to end, but then there was just a lot of things that didn't make too much sense, and then
things that weren't answered.
Yeah, and then there was just like a lot of missing spaces, I felt, and they were just like, let's cut to this scene, let's cut to that scene. It's like, that's it. A lot of gaps.
A lot of stuff that just didn't make sense just to fulfill their own storyline. Mm-hmm. Like, we never got to see like who Varys sent those letters to. We never got to see why he took his rings off. We never. Like, why did Jon's parentage matter?
The way it ended, it didn't matter at all.
At all. Maybe it was just in there to throw us off. Like, but still.
It was a good twist. And it's like, they could have used that more. But, like, they just made him, like, Jon a little bitch. And it's like, didn't do much.
I think we're just so used to, like, all the previous seasons, all these elaborate storylines and tales and theories that ended up just kind of weaving into like this wonderful story, and we didn't get that with this last season. We just got like, here's this and that.
Forget everything that we told you.
Forget everything. This is it. Go. Here's some Starbucks. We just want to
end it, and
that's it.
Arrowhead water at the end.
Oh, trash! Fucking basura. Straight basura. But no, it was just. I think everyone was a little upset this season because we're so used to like great
elaborate stories,
elaborate writing, and like all these crazy theories and conspiracies that either are true or end up even being weirder. And with all the conspiracies and shit that everyone was coming up with this season, there was nothing. Mm-mm.
Until that book finally releases.
Yeah,
we'll find out.
The source material isn't even that close to the show anyway. It kind of just went its own way. So even then, it's kind of, ugh. I guess if you want a happy ending, go read the book. Or if you want,
if there is a happy ending.
Well, obviously there's not a. Let me rephrase. If you want a better ending, go read the book. Not necessarily happy.
When it finally comes out, which we're all still waiting.
It'll be a while.
A while?
A while.
But yeah, that's pretty much how we felt with this last episode. Now I have to figure out what I'm going to do Sundays.
I know, for real.
Which kind of sucks, because when you think about it, we had to wait an entire year for this season. You know?
2 almost.
Yeah, almost 2. And they gave us a short,
direct,
dead end of the stick.
Yeah, like,
it's like, what were you doing that whole time? I get the battle scene. It took a long time to capture that, even though we couldn't really see shit.
Yeah, but they were saying like 50 night shoots that they had to do, and I'm like, really? Like, for all the, I feel so bad because you hear about all the effort,
all the
that
work
they put into 50 night shoots. That last little round table was like 10 days in Spain that they had to do. You hear about all this effort and you just like don't see where it went or where it all came to fruition, because
you see with these other seasons, they didn't get like about a year and a half to really film, and it's like,
so you hear about all this crazy effort that they're putting in, and it's like, for what? Because the writing was not that great. It was very short and direct and not as elaborate as we're used to, and like, why?
Yeah. So I don't know what they use. Maybe they'll come out with a DVD, hey, with the uncuts and the deleted scenes, hopefully. I don't know. We'll see what happens, what they're going to give us. I mean, there's another show coming out like this Sunday, right?
Where the
documentary, which I'm probably going to see.
Yeah,
so I have one more Sunday of Game of Thrones.
I just want to see where it went wrong, or like what they were on when they decided that this is going to be a good idea. Because no other season has caused outrage like this. You know what I mean? Like, people were pissed when things happened, but it's like, okay, that's part of the story. That's Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Life goes on. But people were like,
not by like how the story was written.
Yeah. It had nothing to do with the writing, the storyline. Great. Even though it broke all our hearts, that was it. That was part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
This last season just angered audiences because it was straight shit. It was character assassination. Lack of like character development, just gone straight into the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
Weird, like
all the prophecies gone.
Like, yeah,
everything that was
unanswered
built up,
questions, built up stuff that never came to be. It was just like a huge turd,
right? They I don't know.
And I think that's what got people the most angry. It's not so much that, oh, she went Mad Queen. It was more like, okay, but you're not answering my questions.
Right.
Any of my fucking questions.
And all these years just watching these characters, were like, oh my god. And yeah, a lot of them died, but especially in this season, it's just like, that's how they went. That's how they're going to do it. It's just like, it felt heartless.
Yeah. I guess that's the best way to put it. There was no heart put into it.
Mm-hmm.
And they just left all these stupid plot lines that don't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's like, who are these people now?
Yeah. But there's not really much you can do, no matter how many petitions you sign, as stupid as that shit is.
Yeah, they're not going to remake it. They're done. Yeah. I mean, the actors are not going to even want to go back and reshoot
the fact that there's even a petition, like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
It's like, really, let's go do that since...
Yeah.
It's already done.
They're totally going to listen to a bunch of fat nerds on their couches signing petitions. Like, no.
What it's done is done, and that's what we got. So what can he do until, like, maybe...
there's nothing you can do except complain, and that's it.
Yeah, maybe a decade or so, in the future, they might remake the seasons. You never know, since Hollywood's good at remaking a bunch of other stuff from decades ago, so...
No, and I forget who was being interviewed, but they're like, if you don't like the way the story ended, please, we encourage you to go write your own stories.
Yeah.
And it's like, God, I hope someone takes that to heart and just gives us a fantastic fucking story from beginning to end.
I mean, it could. I mean, there's Reddit. You know? I mean, people are making their own movies on YouTube. It could happen.
Yeah.
You know? Someone out there in the world right now is probably remaking season 8 on YouTube.
And that would be lovely. Or making their own completely new fantastical story. Who the fuck knows? But yeah, if you're upset, get inspired and do it yourself.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. that is all that we have today for the last and final episode of Game of Thrones.
It's been fun.
It has been fun. And it's sad that it's over.
Yeah.
That's it. No more Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
But
and if you need a good laugh, I definitely would go to Funny or Die and watch Game of Thrones because that.
Oh my god, that guy's amazing.
Love.
So amazing.
So yeah, if you're depressed about the season, go watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Or look up Game of Thrones memes. That will brighten your day.
Also true.
So, hope you enjoyed the last and final episode of our Game of Thrones reviews. And that's all we have.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.